So here we have a colorful image that I'm going to use to demonstrate the power and the importance of blending modes. So looking at this image, it seems to me it needs a little bit of contrast. So I'm going to go in, add in a curve, and you'll notice that when you add in an adjustment layer, it takes on the default, which is normal. Normal means that whatever effect that you add with this adjustment layer, it's going to affect the luminosity, the hue, and the saturation. So I'm going to click on this. We're just going to go in and add a little bit of classic contrast here, little S-curve. And you can see if we turn this on or off that we actually have added contrast. However, we've also picked up some saturation and most likely some hue variation. So what do? Well, we can move this down to luminosity, and you can see a lot of the saturation goes away. Let's do that one more time. There's normal, which is luminosity, hue, and saturation, and here's luminosity, just affecting the luminance value in this particular RGB image. Okay, so now we're going to go in and we're going to add in a hue saturation, and we'll notice that the same thing, we've got a normal blending mode, which means it's going to affect all three characteristics, the luminosity, the hue, and the saturation. So we're going to go in and we're going to saturate the red. I'll pull that up probably 30 or 40, something like that. The yellow and the green. So now if we go and look at it, we've obviously increased the saturation, but we've also increased the luminosity. It's much brighter than it was before. So what can we do? Well, once again, let's target what it is we're attempting to do by picking the correct blending mode. And here that's going to be saturation. So you can see, let's try that one more time. Normal, and then down to saturation. You can see that by targeting it, it removes that luminance boost that we get. All right, so now we're going to go in and we're going to try something with hue. We're going to go to a hue saturation, and we're going to go in and target the reds. I'm going to take that up to here, the yellows, and the greens. All right, so we've made a hue change. Now, some of these hues are going to actually cause the luminosity to decrease, so it's not going to get brighter because some of these colors are going to be darker than they were before. So if we turn this on and off, you can see that we've lost a little bit of the luminance, and that's because luminosity was also affected. So what we need to do is we need to come on down to here to hue, and there's what it would have looked like without including the saturation and the luminosity. So utilizing these are a very, very important part of image optimization. You can imagine that if you had spent time coming up with a curve to modify the luminance and you'd struggled to get it perfect, and then you went in and added a hue saturation above it, but you left it in normal blending mode, you could throw the work that you did on the curve off, and you'd have to go back downstream and tweak the original curve. By targeting what it is you want to do ahead of time, you're going to really reduce the amount of times you have to go back downstream and tweak. So a quick recap. So normal blending mode adjusts luminosity, hue, and saturation. Luminosity blending mode adjusts luminance. Hue blending mode adjusts hue. Saturation blending mode adjusts saturation. And color blending mode adjusts hue and saturation. You can also use multiply blending mode to darken an image or screen blending mode to lighten an image. All of these can be modified with the opacity slider.